Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady checking in with a weekly garden tour. I'm a little bit off schedule. Actually, that's just going to be kind of my mantra for the next couple of weeks. There's just not enough time in the day to get everything accomplished. But I'm really excited to show you how the garden has evolved even just in the last week. We've been warm, frost-free since last Tuesday night. And well, the garden is really starting to explode into flower. So let's take a stroll. So as you can see in the big foundation bed, this is definitely the Cottage Border. And right now the dominant feature is the bachelor buttons, which is primarily blue, but I do have some pinks in here. And there's like a nice dark purple over in the middle. But you can see that the larkspur are starting to flower. Get you a close-up of those right here. And of course, all that soft green foliage are poppies. And they haven't started to bloom yet, which is a good sign. That means they will be flowering for the open garden on May 7th. I'm really excited with the coverage that this bed has. I didn't really do any thinning in here. And like I've said all along, I just believe in sort of survival of the fittest. The plants will fight it out. And the better ground plate coverage you have, the better the show. And frankly, the less weeding you have to do. So this is exactly what I'm aiming for when I'm sowing seeds in the spring. As you can see, it's hot and we haven't had all that much rain. The Edgeworthias are a little wilty, but everything up here close to the house is doing great. That rose is about to explode into bloom. And of course, my favorite strawberry, Snowy Belle, is putting out a lot of berries. I've already harvested the ripe ones. And all the containers across the front look great. But I just wanted to show you how cute Sophia is sleeping here under David's new to him free bicycle. His little beach cruiser that he rides through the neighborhood. Hi, Sophia. I am so happy that the snapdragons have started to flower. I really do love snapdragons, and you can see the violas. Just this combo is looking great. Here's some of the broccoli that continuously gets eaten by the cabbage worms. Oh, there's a cute little lizard that captured Sophia's attention. And over here, these containers looking great. This patch of Chandler strawberries has been producing a ton. When I got home yesterday, I went through, and it's like an Easter egg hunt looking for the berries. You have to kind of get in and uncover a lot, and there's just tons of berries. I renovated this bed in March of 2021, and the productivity since then has just been exponential. It's really exciting. Of course, these containers looking good. They are drying out really fast. They need a ton of water. These cool season things like celery, don't really like 90 degrees, and that's what we're getting this week. The barley wall on this side looks awesome. Unfortunately, last week's rain, so we had a 47-degree rain day, which really sucked. It really beat up this side. Now, I haven't done anything, I haven't been home. My plan is I'm just gonna trim it, and really, I might even replant this side. I probably won't. I won't get it replanted before open garden, just because I'm not home enough to be able to get the plants to fill it in. I like to plant this with coleus for the summer. I am disappointed with how it lodged on this side, but like I said, this is the first time I've ever done a monoculture of grains, and I guess this is just a part of the learning experience. And at least the other side looks perfect. So And barley in the ground is looking great. I really love it at this stage. And you see how cute it is just as a small clump, just like an ornamental grass. Just happens to be a grain that you could eat or brew beer with. I think this area is still my favorite in the entire garden. That wildfire lettuce mix is the most beautiful thing that I have ever grown. I'm so impressed with it. And you see the alliums that were part of that bulbs.com order that I received are doing really nicely. And the larkspur behind and poppies are not quite flowering, but will be soon. You see the succulent window box that I planted last week is in place. And over here, I planted all of the carex that was in that window box for the winter interest. Planted it here under the live oak because this is the perfect place to put in some carex. Now the viburnums continue to bloom. This is Viburnum Burkwoodii Kanoi. And across here you see we've got various irises in bloom. And the barley wave is definitely coming true. It's not as good as it should be. But I do think that this is also part of the issue of having these trees grow out and provide so much shade. But overall, I think the barley looks good. It's still not as much of a mix as I would like. And there are a ton of Prunus mumes seedlings that I am going to pot up and hopefully have available for sale at my fall open garden, which I have officially set the date for. Over in the side shrub border, you can see the nigella isn't blooming yet, but it's starting to show its buds. It's gonna be really pretty. And the viburnum are still going strong, and the weigela has started to open. And I do love weigela. Just kind of a good fill in the gaps, blooming end of April, beginning of May, deciduous shrub. This rose is always so entertaining. You know, it grows way up into the water oak, and I love how it just spills down and has these arches of blooms. This is, of course, the understock of a rose that has long ago died, and this was here when I moved here. And I've thought many times about, you know, killing it, but I really am charmed by it, and actually does smell quite good. And I mean, you know, it gets black spot and just kind of defoliates by the middle to end of summer, but overall, I just think its spring display is really worthwhile, and I love how it dangles through the tree. Check in on all the plants that I'm going to have for sale at Open Garden. I have more to pot up that's on my agenda for today. And for now, this is sort of where I'm going to concentrate all the plants because they get late day shade and it's easy access with a hose to keep everything watered. So great assortment of interesting vegetables from the Foodscape Revolution plant line. So excited to be offering these plants this year. I have a feeling this border will be in full swing for the open garden. You can tell it is very dry, and I probably need to start running sprinklers. I haven't yet, but I need to start. And looking out into the garden, I mean, it definitely feels like summer at this stage. None of these self-sown poppies have started to bloom, but I do have some poppies to show you in the backyard. And one of my favorites for this time of year is Sarissa, and it's just a really cute small shrub native to Japan. Cute little white whitish to pink flowers. Over here, I obviously went plant shopping over the weekend when I was at the Garden City Festival at Sacred Heart in Augusta. And all of these, I'm not sure where I'm going to put them all, but I was just too excited to not get them. All these deciduous azaleas from Trusty Farms. I bought one of every variety that he had, and I do have a lot of potting up still to do. I'm just noticing over here some stupid cabbage worms eating my broccoli. Need to put out more BT. These poppies are doing great, really expanding. They will hopefully be flowering for the open garden. To show everybody that you can grow poppies in containers, and even easier than that, you can grow poppies just in a bag of soil cube with some drainage holes punched in. This is definitely one of my favorite spring containers. Some anemones and some poppies and violas blooming in there, and of course potatoes and the grow bags behind it. Here of course is a lime tree that I've been growing for years, and I get a lot of limes from that. We get to use them for mojitos. As we make our way into the backyard, you see that native fringe tree is still in full bloom. It looks so good. And of course all of these onions are really growing robustly, and the poppies along this border, nothing's blooming yet. Remember, these were sown in the beginning of January, but I think they will be blooming for the open garden on May 7th. Same thing goes for this side. The larkspur are just about to open, and all of these poppies, you can't even see that there's the cattle fence panel in here anymore. That's such an easy trick to prevent animals like cats from digging your seedlings up. But these will soon be flowering as well. And everything just is looking really nice. I bet that if we started watering, it'll make it that much better. And as we make our way across the back, I'm happy to see the mustard that I trimmed back is starting to push out some new flowers. So that should look good for the open garden. Same thing here around the pool. I'm still collecting lots of garlic scapes. In fact, here's a whole row of scapes that need to be harvested. Remember, you do this so that your garlic bulbs will form to full size. You need the energy of the plant to go into bulb production, not into flowering and setting seed. So that's why you collect the garlic scapes. And these poppies in the feed tank are just about to open. You can see they've got big flower buds coming. The anticipation is killing me. And the larkspur here is just starting to bloom as well. Well, you can see from this poor phlox, it's dry and it's hot. See how it's wilting? I definitely need to go ahead and do the Chelsea chop on this. You see how tall it's gotten, and it'll continue to grow. And if I don't cut it halfway back now, when it flowers, it'll just flop over. So there's a lot of perennials that this is the best practice to employ, phlox being one of them. It makes a big difference, and you get twice as many flowers. I am really pleased with the tower garden. This is actually the one area where I haven't had a ton of cabbage worm damage, and these broccolis are doing great. And you guys, look, I have a package to open. I'm so excited. This is the first time I've ordered from Planting Tree, and I haven't opened it yet, but I'm gonna make a video. But it's all native ornamental grasses. It's all Muhlenbergia capillaris, both the straight species and the white variety, white cloud. Bound for next door. And I only ordered a few this round because I haven't broken ground yet, so I have to keep them alive. But I'm really excited about ordering from Planting Tree. It's a great website, super easy to use, and they have a great plant collection. And right here on the patio, we've got tiny, for some reason, tiny poppies, but poppies nevertheless, with a pretty good mix of colors. Of course, snapdragons and wheat growing here behind it. Hopefully a lot more of this cottage display to come in the next few weeks. These poppies were all self-sown, and they're really small. It's so weird. Usually my poppies are enormous, so I'm not exactly sure, other than the fact that they're not really growing in the bed. But it just makes me really happy to see these beautiful flowers. As we come along here, I see I have more strawberries to pick. Oh, delicious. I love strawberry season. These are Chandler, and amazing how the blueberries are really starting to form. And oh my gosh, look at here. Look at this beautiful dark red poppy. That is just one of my favorite colors of all time. And look at these grains. I am so excited for the grain experiences. I have them on my website, and look at the link in the description here to learn more about what we have planned. Basically, field to oven. We're gonna show people how to harvest the grains, and then we're gonna make fire roasted pizzas. I'm so excited. It's throughout the month of June. These are all the different varieties that we were growing. I'm going down to Johnson Nursery tomorrow, and we're gonna do a mock experience so that we all know what to do. And well, I'm just so excited. I'll definitely make a video while I'm there. So be sure to click that link in the description to learn more about these grain experiences. And if you're from out of town, consider making it part of a vacation. It's only 30 miles from Wilmington, so you could have a great beach vacation and a grain experience at the same time. And over here you see this barley is just so beautiful. And then look at that, barley mixed with roses. I think my favorite part of foodscaping are the unexpected combinations. And here's a prime example of, you know, you have delicious lettuce, barley, there's potatoes growing, and then, you know, roses all together. Sky's the limit. These containers really look beautiful. I'm actually needing to harvest some of this lettuce before it bolts and gets really bitter. I just think the barley in containers, though, is the most beautiful thing. I just think it's something that everyone should do. I have some pruning to do on the figs. They are pretty much leafing out all the way up to the tips. And across here, of course, this larkspur is starting to really come in. I can't believe what this raspberry has done. I can intellectually believe it, but I still can't believe my eyes. Oh well, I'm glad it is not planted in the ground. And these do produce delicious raspberries. This is one called Heritage. In the greenhouse, everything's doing well. I need to get this broccoli rabe transplanted. I'm running out of time for that. But you see, these are some of the Prunus mumes that I dug out of the ground a few weeks ago and transplanted, and they're doing really well. I did some more last week. Keep them in the shaded area for about 2 weeks, and then I can pull them out into more sun. Of course, this is like a staging area for all the stuff that's going to go into the next door garden. And this is what I have to pot up today so that I have these available for the open garden. And I posted 2 videos yesterday about planting rice. Remember, you've got to get rice not from the grocery store. And here's my proof. This was the least processed rice that I could find. whole long grain brown rice and not a bit of germination. Now, the rice that I sell, here you have it, germinating perfectly fine. So you've just got to get rice that's from a seed distributor, not from the grocery store. I don't need to keep doing this experiment. Like, at some stage, people just have to actually take my advice and listen. The grocery store rice is too processed. It does not have a live endosperm. It won't germinate. On this side of the greenhouse, I'm really excited to see broccolis. You know, at this stage, the cabbage worms are inevitable, but I did get BT out and it's looking good. I need to go ahead and harvest this. When they get like this, they start to really sprout up, but that's like perfect. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. I'm gonna eat it for lunch. And lots of poppies over here, none blooming quite yet. I'm letting that kohlrabi go to seed, so I'll have lots of seed for next fall. And I have not sown any seeds of my own yet, and I am definitely starting to freak out about it. But you know, spring is a really busy time for people in this business, and you just can't get it all done. And I'm not gonna freak myself out. Now, it's definitely time for me to go ahead and pluck these crazy onions flowers back, but I've just been so intrigued by them that I haven't done it. Actually, don't mind if I let some of my onions go to seed, because then I'll have seed to sow for the next round. And all of the garlic in here is doing really well. No signs of scapes yet, but you can see underplanting, lots of Eschscholzia coming, the California poppy, which of course is blooming here in mass. So it's definitely like my favorite corner of the garden right now. It's just so sunshiny and beautiful. I'm so pleased to see this white giant calla lily in bloom. It did die to the ground this year, so it's a little smaller than last year. If we get ample rain, it'll continuously flower all summer. Hopefully we have some more rain in the forecast, because it's yet again hot and dry. And the stinky fun novelty of the garden right now are the Amorphophallus. This is konjac. Last year I had a lot of flowers, but this year I only seem to have 2, but that's okay. They are still quite entertaining. And of course, after they flower, these blooms will die to the ground, and then the foliage will emerge. I do have some weeding to do back here in the woodland, which hasn't gotten any attention since winter. And as we make our way to the north side, you can see a very tall poppy just about to flower here. Some larkspurs starting. I also really underestimate this area for just how shady it is, but also dry. So like the hydrangeas aren't that happy over here. I just need to start running the sprinklers. I've been really impressed with how long the Circus Chinensis Don Egoff has flowered. It's like a whole new round of flowers have emerged. So I think this might be the longest season of interest that I've ever experienced with this plant. And one thing I'm so excited to see is the Chinese fringe tree in full bloom. So this is the first year that I've ever had both the native and Asian fringe trees blooming at the same time. And I'm sure that has something to do with the weather, which the weather hasn't made me consistently happy this year, because we've had, you know, up and down temperatures, but it is really spectacular to have both of these fringe trees in flower at the same time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's garden tour. I do have the goal of getting my top 5 plants for April videos up this week. I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed by my goal of putting out a video every single day, but I'm gonna try to do it. I do have 5 states in 8 days to visit. I'm so excited that live events are back in action. It's really the thing I enjoy the most. And I hope if you have the opportunity to come to one of the symposiums that I'll be at, I have put my upcoming events link in this description as well. And I look forward to sharing more updates from the garden next week. It'll be a week where there's no maintenance. So it's always fun to see how the garden fares with a hands-off approach. And that's really always been a big part of my goal as a gardener, to show people that if you're strategic in the way that you approach land management, you don't actually have to be out micromanaging. And this year, the next few weeks, I'm definitely going to be putting that to the test. Well, I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I hope that you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.